Hello friends, this is Srimant Elgave. So this is part first of ASP.NET MVC 5 tutorial. So in this tutorial we are going to understand the introduction of ASP.NET MVC. So we will learn the ASP.NET MVC 5 step by step with a simple example. So first, in this tutorial we are going to cover what is MVC, introduction of ASP.NET MVC, and third point is what is the model, view and controller, and fourth is why should we use the ASP.NET MVC, or what is the advantages of using ASP.NET MVC. So first point is what is the MVC. So MVC is architectural design pattern which is used to develop the user interfaces. MVC stand for the model, view and controller. So it divides the application into three components like the model, view and controller. MVC is a more of an architectural pattern but not for the complete application. So we cannot develop the application using only the design pattern. We need to implement this design pattern in one of the framework or the language. Then we can going to develop the application. The MVC is mostly relates to the UI for the application. We need if you want to develop the application, then we need the business layer and the data access layer. So this is about the MVC. So many people are confused between the MVC and ASP.NET MVC. So both are the different things. MVC is a design architectural pattern and ASP.NET MVC is a web framework. Both are the different. These both are the not same. So second in what is the design pattern. So the design pattern is a solution to the problem that occurred in the software development, or design pattern help us in a application development to resolve the problem easily. So what are the design pattern available? First one is the MVC, second one is the proxy, third one is a singleton, fourth one is the iterator, and fifth one is the DAO, and there are so many design pattern, but MVC is one of the famous and mostly used design pattern. So we will going to understand what is the ASP.NET MVC. So ASP.NET MVC is a web framework from a Microsoft which is used to develop the web application using any language. So we can develop the web application using any language. So we can use the C# language, we can use the VB.NET language, or we can use the F# language. So as per the requirement, we can select any language and work with the ASP.NET MVC web framework. So ASP.NET MVC use the MVC architectural pattern. We need to understand both are the different things, MVC and ASP.NET MVC. So second point is ASP.NET MVC are introduced in 2009 by the Microsoft. So this is the diagram we are going to understand of the flow of the ASP.NET MVC. So if you understand this diagram, then you can understand the ASP.NET MVC flow easily, and you can understand also the application easily. So first, when the user enter the URL into the browser send the request to the controller, and controller identify the action method, and if the action method has a database, then it will send the request to the model, and model perform some database related operation and return data to the controller, and controller execute the appropriate view, and view is return the response to the browser. So this is a very simple flow of ASP.NET MVC. So you can simply say when the user enter the URL into the browser send the request to the controller. The first request goes to the controller, and controller based on the user request, it will identify the appropriate action method and execute the action method based on the request. If the action method has a database related changes, then it will send the request to the model performs some database related operation and return the data to the controller, and controller execute the appropriate views and return to the response and view is render the HTML to the browser. This is the very simple flow of ASP.NET MVC. So next we are going to understand what is the model, view and controller. What is the model? Model is a normal C# class. A model is responsible to handle the data and the business logic, and it is also responsible for the database related operation. So if you want to insert, update, delete or get the data from the database, then any operation we are going to perform with the database, then these all are the operation we need to write inside the model. And the extension of the model .cs. So we can write, if you work with the C#, then the class of the model is a normal .cs. Second one is the view. So view is responsible for the user interface. View display the data coming from the model, and view is a normal HTML template which will be binding and displaying the HTML control with the data. And the extension of the view is .asp, .html, .cs, CS HTML, .vb, and so based on the language which we select at the time of creating the project, as per the depends on the language, it will generate the extension. If you are work with the C#, then the extension of the view is .cs HTML. If you are going to work with the VB language, the extension of the view is .vb HTML. These are the extension of views, and third point is the following are the type of view in ASP.NET 5. First one is the layout view, second one is the partial, and third one is the normal view. First one is the layout view. Layout view, we can say this view is the same as the master page in a web form. So layout view means if you want to keep some header and footer for all the views, then we can go with the layout page. What is the partial view? Partial view, if you are going to return some portion of data to the view, then we can go with the partial view. Normal view is the normal view like the web form, and the extension of this is .cs HTML or VB HTML based on the language. So next one is, what is the controller? So controller can contain the action and non-action method. It is used to handle the user request coming from the browser. It will check the user request from the browser and identify the action method and return the respective view. So you can see here is the controller. The controller base class is a controller base. So you can see, go to the definition, you can see the controller class is inherited from the controller base class, and the suffix for the controller is always controller. If you create the home controller, then suffix is controller, home controller, and it contains the action and non-action method. So there is only the action method. You can also create the non-action method. And I will also show you to the view. So if you see in the view folder, The extension of the view is .cshtml. So I have selected the C#, so that's why the extension is a .cshtml. So you can see the extension of the view is .cshtml. This is about page, and inside the shared folder this is the layout page, and layout is used to, and layout is the same as the master page. If you want to static some header and footer to all the pages, all the view pages, then we can use the layout. This one is the model folder. So model is a simple C# class. This is not any difficult task. We can write here the properties, method, and the database related operation. All these things we are going to write inside the model. So next point is controller is inherited from the controller base class, just we have seen, and class, the controller base class which is inside the system.web.muc namespace. So you can see the controller class is inside the system.web.muc namespace. And while creating the control, it always suffix as a controller keyword. Please always write suffix with the controller. So this is a standard way to create the controller. So default controller is the home controller and default view is the index. So I will show you. So inside the route.config, so what is the route.config and what is the routing, we will going to understand in the next or upcoming video tutorial for this ASP.NET MVC. So just we are going to understand what is the default controller. So default controller, you can see controller, default controller is the home, and default action is the index action method. We can change also as per our requirement. If I set this is the default control is the employee or student, our default index method, for example the get employee detail or get student detail, we can write on how we can going to keep the controller, default controller or the default action method. We are going to understand in the upcoming video. So in this tutorial we are only going to focus on the theoretical part and the basic introduction of ASP.NET MVC. So next is advantages of ASP.NET MVC, or why should we use the ASP.NET MVC. First is the separation of code. This feature is specified separating the presentation logic from the database related logic. So if you see, the model and view are the independent folders, they are not dependent on each other. So that's why it will be separate the UI logic, UI code, and also the business logic separately. So ASP.NET MVC support the separation of code. And second one is the loosely coupled. It is also achieve the loosely coupling. Why? Because just I have told about the views and model. Views and model are the independent folder, so that's why it is less dependent. The views is less dependent on the model, so that's why it is loosely coupled. And so it is a loosely coupled, that's why we can easily iterate, expand and enhance our application. So this is the one of the best advantages of using ASP.NET MVC. And second one is also very important advantages is the parallel development. So the more than one developer can work on the view and model, so that's why the parallel development is going to happen in the ASP.NET MVC. So if the one developer can work on the views, then another developer can simultaneously work on the model. So the parallel development can be achieved in ASP.NET MVC. So fourth one is easy to perform the unit testing. So why we easy to write the unit test cases in the ASP.NET MVC means the model is a separate folder and it is not dependent on any other. So that's why whatever the business logic which we have written inside the model, so we can easily write the test cases for the that business logic. Or fifth is the TDD. So MVC support the test driven development. What is the test driven development means? TDD tester will guide by the development process, and MVC application is more comfortable for the TDD because it will easy to modify at any point of time and any mode. So these all are the 5 advantages of using ASP.NET MVC. So in this tutorial we have learned first what is MVC, second what is the ASP.NET MVC, third point we have covered what is the model, view and controller, and fourth point is why should we going to use ASP.NET MVC or advantages of using ASP.NET MVC. So that's we have for this tutorial. So thanks for watching this my video. Please subscribe my channel, and more detail you can visit on my blog, that is www.programmingwithsri.com. Thank you for watching my video.